Alright, hoping everybody's having a good Martin Luther King Day. Got a couple things I got to do today. I haven't really played that much yet today. Before I get into that, I don't know about you guys, but my DD4 strategy's been driving me a little nuts, and I've been trying to build some, I guess, simple tools in Excel to kind of visualize it better. And I just wanted to show you it's a work in progress, but I wanted to show you one of the things that I came across today. So this is a spreadsheet that I made that is of all 158 characters, including Doom. And, basically it's just simple database and kind of putting in all the attributes like territory, origin, and trait. And then just kind of looking at what that split is. So I did this for the whole meta, so all 158 characters, but if there's anybody that thinks this would be useful to them, customized to just their team to see where maybe they've got some holes on their team, I'd be willing to do it for free for the first couple people. I am trying to make a little money if I would do that, just to cover the cost of the time that I'd spend to do it, but it wouldn't really take me all that long. All I would need would be some screenshots of your roster, or I could send you an Excel template and you could key it all in yourself and send it back to me. But I'm trying to, obviously this is pretty simple, just tables, kind of a dashboard, but I'm trying to make some graphs within Excel that are a little bit, just kind of show me where the balance is in the meta for the teams that I have. But if you would find this useful, hit me up, just email me. Also started an Instagram and Twitter, kind of just with random stuff. The Twitter, anytime I have kind of a roster milestone, I keep a strategy journal, but my hand's cramping because I'm writing so much, and I'm just going to try to simplify it and just put some of it on Twitter. So if you guys want to check out what I'm doing with my roster, go over to Cincy Spidey on Twitter, and you can see that. And then I'll be throwing up a couple screenshots every once in a while. Just had the Blitz rankings from the Yelena event. Did a little worse than I did the last time. That was pretty much as expected because it's a new character and people are going a lot harder to get a new character. But I'll throw up some screenshots of maybe some RTA, punch ups or punch across that worked really well. One team that I'm really excited about right now is the hybrid of the Kree and X-Force. I'm sorry, not X-Force, X-Factor. Shatterstar and Longshot of the characters in this patch are kind of the ones that I was most excited about. Actually, that's probably not true. Going into it, I was probably most excited about Iceman and Red Guardian. But once I saw, I think it was OMG put up gameplay of his test footage with those guys, and I was like, holy shit, people don't see how good these guys are going to be, and I really think that they can work well with Kree and Inhumans. I think that's what I'm going to be trying a lot with, and I don't know if it was who it was, either OMG or Reminex had somebody on that had Doom already, I think, and had Ultimus and the Dad Bros on there. And that's kind of what I was thinking long term, and it looked really good. So I don't know. I'm definitely going to be investing there. I know that there's a ton of X-Men right now, but I think that's right now that's going to be a focus for me in Cosmic. There's no shortage of good Cosmic people to take into DD4. Some of them are kind of expensive, like Hela, and Ultimus is actually pretty expensive too, so I'll probably go with just one of those over both. But I'm thinking about playing it a little bit longer, especially in Cosmic, to get those really good people that maybe swing into Doom's team. But Doom might be global, so I don't know. I've still got to think about it a lot. Ultron's definitely one that I'm kind of considering. I'm not big on any of the tech, so Ultron and Minerva will probably be locks for me at some point. I know that people kind of got burned with Ultron a little bit in DD3. I'm one of those people. He was so good in DD2, kind of just assumed that he would be good in DD3, but with that long cooldown some of the time, it was rough some of the time. Global's kind of tough as it is, depending on what your team is, but I don't know. I don't see how you can do it without Phoenix. I'm sure there are characters now that make it easier. I don't even remember if Colossus was out at the start of it when I was going through, or maybe I just didn't have him. But adding him was a big addition, along with Magneto and Wolverine. I got a pretty good, like, kind of mutant hybrid team going on. I think at some point I'm going to have to choose a side, and it's probably going to be the X-Men, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, back to this chart. I was just trying to take. Well, this is only one piece of kind of the bigger picture of kind of what I have in mind, and I'm just doing it for myself. If I can make money on it, great. If I can connect with other people playing the game, great. I don't really care. I'm kind of just bored a little bit right now. But anyway, looking at these charts, the thing that stuck out to me was the chart in the bottom right-hand corner. And it's just looking at the percentage total that characters fall into specific categories. So this is basically looking at trait and origin. And there are three. I only called out two in the graphic, but there are actually three things that I see that I think are kind of interesting. So we saw a couple days ago, I don't know how many people noticed this. I'm probably one of the few. I think a couple of the talking heads on YouTube are talking about it today, or maybe talked about it over the weekend, but I don't even remember what day it was. It was either Friday or Saturday. There was promo art for, it must have been Friday, because Kitty Pryde came out on Friday. But there was promo art that kind of showed who she works well with. And I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but they kind of revealed Bishop, who had been rumored. I mean, that really wasn't really a total surprise for me. But I looked for it again today, and I could not find the picture. I think they took it down. So I think that's really interesting. I mean, that's kind of what, everybody kind of was expecting Bishop. And Jubilee was pictured in that graphic also. So obviously, there's going to be something going on there. There's something that we don't know yet. I don't know if it's going to be some kind of X-Men specific legendary event where you would need like a whole team of X-Men, which I think is a very real possibility, especially with how many mutants they're adding. It's really tough to prioritize, but anyway, 3 call-outs in that bottom graph. There are 3 numbers where only less than like 2% of characters fall into those categories. And the one I'm going to talk about first is Mystic Blaster. Defenders are rumored to having some kind of upgrade. We don't know if it's going to be, a rework between the existing team. If, maybe Night Nurse or Elektra is going to get that Defender tag. I think actually Elektra being kind of like an anti-hero and having both hero and villain allegiances or affiliations or whatever, I think would be kind of interesting. I don't think we've really seen a character that's kind of gone both ways. And I think it's kind of interesting looking at Doom's description. Not only is he tech, he's also mystic. So, I mean, he kind of breaks the barrier for them doing something like that. So that's a possibility. So anyway, Defenders are coming. We don't know what that's going to be, but one of the characters that's being rumored has been Moon Knight. A character I personally don't know a ton about. I mean, I'm familiar with him. Really, my only exposure to him was back in Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't think I've really read anything else. That was a long time ago. But anyway, I mean, everybody seems to like him. I think Oscar Isaac got casted, so I think that's a really interesting choice. I think he'll probably do a really good job with that. So anyway, I think that that's definitely a character that they could be adding, and he would kind of fit that Mystic Blaster role. So I think that one's a very real possibility. That's one I probably feel the most confident about. The other one, or the second one I guess that I'm looking at, is under Mutant Support. That's another one that's really low. We don't really have a Mutant Support character yet. I think the only one is Beast, probably. I don't know what Kitty's labeled. Kitty's a protector. So I think it's just Beast. So here's what I'm kind of thinking. I don't know a ton about this either, but it's just a character that I'm, familiar with. I think he was maybe in the 90s cartoon. I can't really remember, but Forge was kind of the big tech guy. Kind of the one always worked. I think he was always working on the Blackbird. Again, that's another series that I'd like to get back to sometime in the near future. But anyway, I think that there's a very real possibility that he could be joining the team. So, like I was talking about, we know Bishop's likely going to be coming. And I think they kind of were a duo. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the way it worked. And then I also think that there's a cable connection in there. I don't know if it's an X Factor or X Force thing. But anyway, so what I'm thinking is I have not totally liked X Force. I liked Cable, and I liked Deadpool when he first came out. He was awesome. I never really used Cable a ton after a certain point, but I do have 6 red stars on him, so I'm trying to work him back into my roster. So what I'm thinking is Forge would come in, he would have that X-Men tag, would be able to go with all the X-Men, maybe kind of fill like a Wolverine type role where he's kind of got a little bit of synergy with Uncanny, a little bit of synergy with Astonishing, and I think that could be really interesting. And it could also be a way to, if Forge was like the centerpiece of combined hybrid team between Shatterstar and Longshot and X Factor and Cable and Deadpool and X Force. So I think that's interesting. No one really knows how X Factor is going to be playing in. Some people are speculating that's going to be another crazy raid team like Symbiotes, but I think this is more meant for like a hybrid game style. And I think I'm noticing. I kind of noticed it from the gameplay and just kind of thinking through their kits, but I don't know. Shatterstar and Longshot are two characters that I do not want to sleep on. I think I already have them up to level. I'm sorry, have them up to gear tier 12 already, and I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens with my rewards coming out of DD3. But those are 2 characters that I'm going to be focusing heavily on. So those are kind of the 2 that are listed there. The third is actually if you look under Tech Brawler. Now, what I think is interesting there is I know that a lot of people, including myself, would love to see Hulkbuster. Hulkbuster come to that power armor, maybe pull Iron Man off that team, let him go to the Wave 1 Avengers, and then kind of have him replacing. It doesn't necessarily need to be Hulk in the armor, but Hulk seems kind of underutilized. I think maybe he's going to get his own team at some point. I think there's going to be an Agents of Smash team, but we'll see. We've got a She-Hulk, series coming out for Disney Plus. I think that they're going to be doing more with that character. I think she kind of had a soft reception. Kind of because I feel like you need to have her at a higher level, and it's really if you wanted to use Fantastic Four on defense, and I think a lot of early to mid game players just aren't there yet. So I think that there's more that's going to develop there, and then kind of what I'm trying to figure out with this dashboard. Again, this is only the very first cut that I took, but I'm trying to look at people that I focused on early in the game, like maybe Spider-Man or Daredevil. I focused on Punisher a lot, which is kind of paying off now. I'm looking for other things like that are going to pay off long term. Like I'm about ready to take Spider-Man, I think, into DD3 for City. I know he's not the best available. I'd rather have Anti-Venom, maybe Carnage, but I think my Anti-Venom's maybe at gear tier 12. It has a little bit further to go. I already have maxed out abilities on Spider-Man. I'm probably just going to keep on going, but he's a very real possibility of somebody that could have their own Spider-Verse Spider-Man team at some point. Maybe we'll see Spider-Gwen join the fray, or blanking on her name. What's the other one that was really cool? Silk maybe. They could do like an MJ. I don't remember what they called MJ's version that was a couple years ago. But anyway, I'm looking for people that could develop into having their own team. Like a Hawkeye's another one. We've got a Kate Bishop series coming. Would they ever, introduce her into the game and kind of be a duo with Hawkeye? So I mean, Wave 1 Avengers is, somebody, or is like a concept or whatever that I'm thinking for long term. I think Fury's going to be one of my legendaries, just because he has so many different tie-ins with Inhumans, Avengers, and S.H.I.E.L.D. Just provides the widest umbrella. I think that's a really good long-term option. And then there's a lot going on with the X-Men. I just don't really know which way I'm going to go yet. So anyway, there are, kind of 3 predictions that I have. Maybe not necessarily for this year, but for long term. I'm kind of planning to play this game for as long as they keep making new content. So I'm trying to figure out the most cost-effective way to be in it for the long haul. Anyway, if something like this is helpful to you, hit me up either through Twitter or Instagram, or just email me directly. Not a whole lot going on right now. I mean, I work for CBS Studios in Los Angeles, working from home. Not even that things are slow. I'm just kind of used to the lifestyle, and I can do a little bit more. So if you're interested in kind of being involved, testing this dashboard that I've got started, I'm trying to design it where I could take your information and drop it into and give you a clean look. So if that's something that interests you, hit me up in one way or another. So I got a couple things that I got to do today. Like I said, I haven't really played a ton today. Let's see what all this stuff says. This doesn't really help me because I just hit level 80, I think. I don't know, this is something different, right? Something with ISO. I don't know that I fully understand that. So, I mean, we've kind of known something was coming with a war long term. I don't know if it's up anymore. I don't think I have do I have a war going on right now? No. Let's see what I think they have something, they had like a placeholder for upgrade or something at some point. Let's check it out. I guess I probably haven't shown content of this yet. So yeah, it says upgrade coming soon, so I don't know if that's what that is. That's been there for a long time. Knew something was going to come at some point, some kind of boost, and that would be interesting. So I reworked these a little while ago. I don't know how good they are. They haven't been any worse than what they were. I don't really have a good war defense at the moment. I refuse to do anything really with minions. I just don't have any interest in doing that. I'm gonna do the characters that I love just because I'm a Marvel fan. Spider-Man and Daredevil, people like Ms. Marvel, they're going to be on my roster forever, regardless of how well they shape up. I'm just going to keep taking them up. But yeah, PimTech, just because they're not something that all that many people have seen at this point. Mine aren't really that great, but can kind of... I had a couple easier teams up front because I was trying to, sucker some people in and then hit them with this hard stuff at the end. I've got my Black Order in there now. My Black Order is kind of underdeveloped compared to a lot of people right now. I didn't really get them early enough to go hard on them. I don't think I'm going to try to catch up. Really don't. I'm probably going to take... Ma will probably be a legendary, just because I think they're going to expect so many people to take him as a legendary and probably have factored that into how they've designed those levels. But I don't know, maybe it's just because I haven't played with him enough as a solo character. I don't know how I feel about him. I also don't have any T4s on him yet, so maybe that'll change my opinion. But I don't know how many I'm going to add. Probably his special, but beyond that I'm not really sure. Up to this point, I've kind of gone, if I put one on a character, I'm kind of a completionist, and I think I only have like maybe 15 or 16 characters that I've put T4s on, but those that I have are all maxed out. So I've kind of already picked my favorites somewhat, which I don't know how smart that is, but it is what it is. I've been able to blitz pretty well because I have, probably 4 or 5 teams that can consistently beat probably 95% of the teams that they go up against. So it's a strategy that's working, so I don't think I'm going to mess with it too much. I was kind of worried that after DD2 I had spread my roster a little bit too thin, but I don't know, kind of the more that I think about it, especially, I don't know, I don't think it slowed me down too much. It might have slowed me down a little bit, but I think after finishing Dark Dimension 2, I wasn't really thinking about 3 yet. I know I had a long way to go. But because of where I am right now, I've got a good bit of G15 pieces. I think I have almost enough for 3 nodes on a character. So that's kind of why I'm thinking the Wave 1 Avengers might factor into my situation. There aren't a ton of global skill characters that I love. Like I said, Fury's really the only one that I used him in Dark Dimension 2 a lot and worked out really well. And he's at like one of the umbrella organizations that I don't really want to forget about. So it kind of just makes sense to shoot him up as well. But beyond that, in global, like my Zumo's not going to be ready probably by the time I'm doing that, and like I don't know, I just don't really. I know he's a pain in the ass in RTA, but other than that, like I don't know, I don't really want. I'm definitely more hero centric, I guess. There are villains I like. I like Hela a lot. I like the trophy villains like Ultimus and Ultron. I think that's what, long term, that's what I want to level up. I want to, like, we know Doom's coming. We know we're going to get him as a reward at some point. I want the people that are going to be the strongest for him. So, obviously that would be like Fantastic Four. I think X Factor is really going to be powerful. Kree. Really the Kree 3 being Ultimus, Captain Marvel, and Minerva. And then mixing in Inhumans. I've got Black Bolt's like my top 2 or 3 character. I love him. I love that burp. I'm actually playing with the idea of taking him as my first bio over Yo-Yo, just to get the punch up in Arena, especially since I didn't go with Black Order. It might be helpful to get into another tier that way. I'm having a little trouble on offense right now. I seem to be able to hold on defense, but I'm kind of just naturally dwindled down over time. I probably haven't been attacking enough either. Anyway, lots of stuff wrong there. What else do I got in here? Kind of just trying to find, in not so much in War, but kind of more in Blitz, trying to find some hybrid teams that work for me. I've seen a couple people talk about that mix of Wakandans and mercenaries. I think it was Valley Flying, actually, just to give credit where credit is due. I love your channel, brother. Yeah, it's a great. I love watching all these guys on YouTube. It's really kind of it's been my source of entertainment lately. I didn't do fantasy football this year. Movies are usually a big part of my life. In LA, movie theaters have been closed down, almost for a year now, and I don't leave the house all that much. So just trying to entertain myself as much as possible at home. Again, I'm not focused on Zemo. If there were a Hydra character I would go hard on, it would be probably Red Skull, but I don't really like the minions, so I'm kind of just looking for, okay, can I level up both Zemo and Red Skull and have something that I'm happy with? Crossbones is somebody that I liked a lot in early game. He was probably my favorite character just because I loved that detonate. So he's somebody that I'm trying to get back to. I haven't really spent much of, I don't know what the name of the material that he's got. It's like something carbon. But the one that's used by Luke Cage, it's also used by Star-Lord. I haven't spent any of that yet on any G14s. Gear tier 14s. I don't know if people call them G14s or not. I don't know. I'll probably say that a couple times. But anyway, I haven't spent any of that yet, so I've got a little bit of a stockpile. I'm kind of just trying to decide between those 3 people, which makes the most sense for me. And my kind of strategy right now, I've posted the first, 5 that I'm thinking about, but long term, especially in Cosmic, I'm ready to break up teams. I'm ready to go legendaries and whoever their underboss is. I like I kind of am looking at things in sets of two, or in couplets and triplets, and trios and duos. In Cosmic, I've gotten a lot of mileage, especially in Arena, out of Black Bolt, Crystal, and Yo-Yo. I kind of went hard on them, knowing that I wasn't going to go hard on Black Order. It just took me too long to get Cull Obsidian, and I just could tell that there was no way that I was going to ever keep up, and I did not want to get involved in the chase. There are better ways. I mean, I just would have probably ended up spending money. There are better ways to spend money in this game. And then, I mean, the thing I don't really understand with Arena. I mean, it definitely depends on the way you want to play the game. But Black Order to me only really seems effective in Arena, and I don't really want to go after characters that are only effective in one game mode. I like raid characters that can also be used in other modes. So like Black Bolt, Crystal, Yo-Yo. That's one that I've gotten a lot of mileage out of. I've paired them with Phoenix and Ultron. I can take down Black Order a good bit. And then the Kree 3 that I talked about, Ultimus, Minerva, Captain Marvel, I think are going to be big, and I think I'm going to go Thing, Invisible Woman. I've got a 6 red star Thing, and it's a character that I personally like. So I kind of have my cosmic my plans pretty well set. I don't really know totally how I'm going to handle Black Order yet. I mean, they're not one I'm eager to get in. I haven't put any T4s on them, so I'm not going to completely ignore them, but I might leave them at Gear Tier 13 for a while, especially until I get things kind of sorted out. Big factor is going to be on whatever rewards I get out of DD3, which I should be done with in a week or so. In here, also got that, it's not a full-blown Avengers Shield hybrid, but kind of pulling in Inhumans, Shield, and Avengers, really. I think this is it's not a terrible war team because of Coulson and the advantages that he has in war. So this is one I'm thinking a little bit long-term on. Coulson's a little underdeveloped. Again, I am not leveling up minions. I've left all of them at level 52. Only about 30 to 35,000 power, and for the foreseeable future, I might add a couple more gear pieces, but I don't have plans to spend my gold there. I've already kind of left them in the dust, so for better or worse, I'm going, non-soldier characters. I've kind of been working on a little mafia hierarchy. More on that to come. Anyway, I'm trying to, I'm big on Ultimus. I've already got him to Gear Tier 13, anticipating, once those 5 red stars come after the second run of DD3, I think that's going to be, it's going to be impressive, especially since, I didn't spend the credits on them, but I got 5-star Ronin and 5-star Korath naturally. And, I've been investing a little bit more in them than I want to right now, but I think it'll probably pay off in the long run. The choke point with this team, this 5, will be the Adamantium for Captain Marvel. I'm really not sure how I'm going to spend that yet. I like Captain Marvel, I like Wolverine, I like Hawkeye, and I'm considering all 3 of those right now for DD4, and I probably can't reasonably do that. Let's see, Wolverine, we got a global, cosmic, what was the third one I said? Wolverine, Captain Marvel, and Ultron, so there are two globals in there, so I would probably have, Wolverine's not very expensive. He's kind of been brought up just because of how little expensive he is. Same thing with Sabretooth, although Sabretooth has a lot of utility. Experimenting with that Kree 3, and I don't know, it can't hurt to throw them on. We're not very strategic in our wars. My alliance is pretty casual, so kind of just looking to not give anybody an easy pass. Now, we've been doing pretty good lately, though. Asgardians have kind of fallen off a little bit, and I haven't really leveled up my Asgardians. Again, that was kind of probably right before I started getting really serious about things, and I just missed a lot of introductions, I think, and I've never really. Sif's hard to farm. She's fountainable within the War Store, and I've had other priorities there. I've been prioritizing her for the last several months, or month or so, I guess. I forget who I was trying to work on before her, but I'm trying to focus on her so that I can eventually get Black Bolt at 7 stars, also working to get Karnak up to 7 stars so that I can get that 7-star Ebony Maw. And once I have him at max stars, maybe that changes the story for him, for me. So, I kind of have that's kind of my farming plan right now. I'm pretty much going after Hela every day, and then I'm going through the Doom Chapter 3 nodes that have the Gear 13 and 14 pieces in there, and that's pretty much what takes my core refreshes every day. I did the 50 cores until it goes up to 100, and then I stop. I do the same thing with ISO 8. That's typically how I spend my cores. Just bought some the other day. I hadn't bought any cores for a while, but I only really needed like 100, but I bought $20 worth just to get a little bit of a discount. I don't really spend them the way some people do. If that's the way you want to do it, I don't fault you for it. But it seems like a very expensive option to me to get multiple looks on a store. I don't think I've ever intentionally, they make it a lot easier to not do it unintentionally now, but I've never intentionally refreshed a store, I don't think. Maybe once or twice just to see what happened, but I did not have good results, and it did not seem like a cost-effective way to do that. If you're trying to do things really quick, though, maybe it is. I don't know. I've never really tried it. I don't really care to try it. And then also, I missed the boat on Strife, and I don't like him. I know he's good. I know he worked really well on Marauders, but I don't know. I'm just not really interested in him. So I'm at this point in my game, my strategy, I'm trying to figure out how to break teams and make better teams. So this kind of mutant villains hybrid, I like. I haven't really tested it a bunch out live. Maybe that's what I'll do later. Try them out in real-time arena. But I'm looking how to break up teams. And I just got Sinister up to Gear Tier 14. I'm excited to play around with him. I haven't played around with him a ton, but a lot of people seem to be taking him into Dark Dimension 4. And yeah, I don't have any T4s on him yet. That's probably, I don't know that he's my next priority, but he's close. He's definitely within my top 3. I want to get a T4 on that clone and a T4 on his passive. And I since I'm using him in war, I don't think that that's a terrible strategy. I don't think skill military for the people in my alliances level aren't going to be scary, not for a while. So this is going to be a good war team for me for a while, so I can spend some materials there. And then I really like Emma. I haven't played a ton with her personally. I've seen gameplay and I've experimented here and there, but I haven't really played a lot with her on a team. It's kind of been more like just to see how she works on a solo basis. But she's one that I'm really interested in long term, kind of like Symbiote Spider-Man. She's probably going to be going over to actually maybe it's been confirmed that she's going to be going into the Milestone Orb. So I don't know, we'll see. I'll get her naturally up to maybe 6 or 7, well, up to maybe 6, and maybe when I get close, I'll buy some shards, because the drop rates on those Milestone Orbs aren't great. I feel like actually my drop rate on Symbiote Spider-Man's been a lot better recently, but I don't know if they've changed the percentages or something. I feel like early on there were a lot of people that saved up a ton of Milestone Orbs, opened them all at once, and maybe got like 15 or 20 Symbiote Spider-Man shards and were really pissed. And I'm glad that I didn't do that. So yeah, been getting more from him lately, or more shards for him lately. Getting close to 7, not extremely close, but getting there. And then Symbiote Spidey's probably my top target to put a 6th Red Star on if I can. I've been saving my gold promo credits. I've got about 80 right now. I'm trying to get Koye up to 7 stars so that I have a full 7-star team for the Chaos Theory event. That's probably the quickest way to get those gold promo credits. So, I mean, Wakandans probably missed the boat for me where I was in gameplay, but they were pitched as the Alpha Raid team at the time. They're not bad. One of my first, probably my second or third, six Red Star that I pulled was Black Panther, and I never even had the full team, and I thought he was good. Especially in Raid, when he kills, especially if you're punching down, he is so good. Actually, a strategy that I use some of the time, if there are crappy people in war, and we just need somebody to take them out, I will take just Black Panther and to those the default teams or whatever that you leave in there with shield, and with just Black Panther alone, you can take out those 5 shield pieces. I mean, you don't even probably need a very powerful Black Panther, but I just remember that's what I used to do, because as soon as he kills one, he's going to get another turn. So just that momentum or velocity or whatever they call it. It's a lot of fun. It's at lower levels. It's a lot of fun, I think. I don't know how to do Vibranium, really. There's just a lot of options. I don't have Shuri up to Gear Tier 14 yet. I'd like to take Quake and keep all my Inhumans at a really high level. And then there's Captain America in the mix. So there's 4 quality champions that all require that material, and I don't really know how to prioritize it. I could actually spend it right now on Quake to get her up to Gear Tier 13, but again, I'm waiting another week or so just to see how my rewards finish out for DD3, and then I can do a little bit more planning and kind of figure it out. But don't really know what to do there, but I'm trying not to forget about him. Black Panther, that is. Yeah, so that's a character that I don't want to forget about. And then lastly, I just keep Black Order here just to say fuck you or whatever to somebody who finishes off the 7 teams before that and figures out that they've still got to fight Black Order. I don't know that I've really trapped anybody yet, but I haven't been watching it that closely. We've been doing pretty good in war lately. We are gold 4, so we're not top tier, but we're no slouches. Ooh, nice. I only have a couple more shards that I need to get him up to. Oh no, this is just talking about being on the Red Star. Yeah, I'd like to get a 5th Red Star in him. If I see that, I will probably save for him, actually. So yeah, maybe that's my strategy now. This doesn't really matter to me. Top secret event. Oh, so this is what I was talking about the other day. I still need to go back and read that blog post. I kind of skimmed it real fast just to see what was in there, but didn't really read any of the details. But from what I've gathered, hearing other people talk about it, this covert ops event that's coming up is going to be an easy way to get those gear 14 and 15 pieces, which is huge. Maybe it's artificial. I mean, obviously it is. If they're going to release more, I mean, that scarcity is what's worried me about spending on certain characters. I don't think, again, it's not slowed my progress. It's probably been a good thing, because for somebody like me, it causes you to slow down a little bit and think about your decisions long term. But yeah, excited to see what kind of rewards come out of this one. Finished the Red Winter event earlier today. I think this was the 2nd time that I haven't had to buy any little add-ons at the end to get those last couple of milestones. So I'm definitely blitzing well enough now to kind of get through one of these long events that's like 12 or 14 days, getting through it, and just normal methods, not having to buy anything extra, which is nice. Not that I was ever going crazy on it. I wouldn't ever really buy anything early. I'd kind of wait at the end. There have been a couple times though where I've done my math wrong or not done as well as I thought I was going to, and I've like missed out on like the last tier or two and kicked myself. So that probably got me to buy a couple that I probably didn't have to once or twice along the way. But I'm to the point now where I really don't have to do that anymore. Let's see what else. I haven't been. I have and I haven't been watching these Emma event milestones all that well. So right now, I'm not gonna have a problem getting 3 more, but I like to get at, especially when you get in the 6 and 7 star range, it's really good to be near one of the 50s, and by that I mean, and for a 6 star you need 200 shards to get at that 50, 100, 150 range, or close to it. Because if you are willing to spend, they come out with 50 character shard offers pretty regularly. You're pretty much buying those. They do throw in something extra. They throw in like maybe a dozen or two purple gear pieces. For the people that are buying it, probably don't really need those pieces, but they're in there. So 50 shards for $30 isn't a great value. I'd feel even a little bit better if it was $25. But when they do the characters that have been out a while, where it's 50 shards for like $2 or $3, I love those. I did those for a long time. I really wasn't spending a ton on the game, but I liked having all the characters kind of leveled up all the way. I'm still kind of messing around with my shard strategy. I think I'm to the point now where I can definitely shift downstream and not buy the earliest thing anymore. I'll just watch people online play it and kind of figure out if they work for my team, and then I can always kind of spend money to catch up later if I feel like that I really missed out on something. But I feel like I've judged this patch pretty well. Going into it, I think I was really excited about Red Guardian and Iceman, and Scopely probably did a pretty good job releasing things in the order that they did. And I think a lot of people slept on X Factor probably. I think it's going to pay off for me long term. That is to be seen. But yeah, I went pretty hard on X Factor. Probably went a little harder on Shatterstar, in which I had gone a little harder on Longshot. I did pull 5 red stars on Red Guardian, so I did, I think, buy an offer that, for whatever math I was running, made it so that I could get him into the 5-star range, which I more than did. I probably, actually thinking back to it, I probably didn't need to buy the offer I did. I think full disclosure, Red Guardian was the first character that I did the $50 offer on. I've never done one of those before, and just since I got 5 stars on him, I see his value long term, kind of wanted to get a jump start. I don't like spending that much money on it, but they got me by giving me a 5 red star character, and I just decided that I might as well not waste it. I'm getting more 5s now. I have a lot of people at 3 and a lot of people at 4 that I'd really like at 5 before I make any decisions on who I take to 6. So that could slow me down, but at the same time, I'm not sure that going slow is a terrible strategy. Like I said, after DD2, I think I kind of probably made my roster too big. I might even had 3 global teams for the second run, which I was able to complete it pretty fast, and especially when they had those achievements of going through 25 times, but not giving you any rewards for the 3rd through 25th time, which kind of annoyed me. But I grinded through that. I think I could get through in about 4 or 5 hours on auto after a while. Especially I had like Fury, Ultron, Minerva. Once I kind of had that team, and I think maybe Black Panther was on there too. Once they were all on there, that was super easy. I could basically flip it on auto. But yeah, I think I had a ton of teams because I had a Wave 1 Avengers team, or part of one, that had Hulk. Maybe it just had Hulk. There's like Hulk and Wolverine in there, but I don't know. I spread myself too thin is the long story short version of it. So I'm trying not to do that again for this next phase. But again, I got to see what rewards I got out of DD3. I'm kind of thinking 2 steps ahead, and when I'm not even there yet. Again, should be done with DD3 probably in the next week or so, depending on how quickly I can get these characters up. I just did something I might end up regretting. I'm really close on both Anti-Venom and where am I going? Anti-Venom and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man I've only got 3 more nodes on. Anti-Venom I've only got 1 more to get up to Gear Tier 13, so it's going to take me a little bit longer, but I'd definitely rather have Venom for Dark Dimension to revive Symbiote Spider-Man if he ever dies. But yeah, so I'm not really sure what to do there. Haven't really decided yet. I think I'm gonna end up probably. I've paced things out really well, but I think I'm gonna finally get to the point where I'm gonna have a little bit of a bottleneck. I think I'm probably gonna finish DD3 Cosmic and probably have another week or 2 before I get a city team together. Right now I've got Symbiote Spider-Man, and then I've gotten a lot of mileage out of the duo of Daredevil and Punisher. I hope that they do a Defenders rework and something shifts there, and I just come out, smelling real good, and I don't know, we'll see what happens. And then Ms. Marvel, I just have liked her, pretty much the whole span of the game. Not really as a young Avenger. I haven't really even put her on that team until recently. I always had her on Inhumans instead of Quake, just because of some of Quake's costs. And I've just gotten a lot of mileage out of her utility. Obviously she crosses over with Ms. Marvel. So again, when I was talking about that Kree team, the Kree and X Factors hybrid, I think that she could probably fit in there somewhere and kind of be like, again, I'm thinking of things in duos and trios, and I just think there's a lot. I think the X Factor guys are just going to provide a lot of utility with their kits. So one that I've kind of been thinking up in my head, I haven't really tested it out a bunch, but in theory this sounds like something that would work, would be Ms. Marvel, Karnak, and Quake, maybe even all as Raiders. Probably not Ms. Marvel, but definitely Quake. And then I think I've got Healer on Karnak right now, which is just kind of the function of the team that I have him on. I don't even know if it's probably not the best. If I were to pull him off and put him on another team, I definitely would want to switch him to Raider. But I just think with those kits, with Quake's slow, and critting a couple times in there, and providing that barrier and health to the X Factor team, I think that seems like a really good combination. And then, with the Kree 3, with Ultimus, Captain Marvel, and Minerva, paired up with X Factor, that's one that I've been playing around with a little bit more in Blitz than in RTA. I haven't been doing a ton of RTA because I got a little bit of not a head start, but right when the weekly goals shifted, I had a team that worked really well with that Kree X Factor hybrid and was able to blow through some of my weekly stuff really, really quick, like just using the one team. So again, I think that they're going to be a good real-time arena team going forward. I forget what I was looking at here. I unlocked Doc Ock. Haven't put any money into him yet. It's kind of more a function of gold than anything else. Again, I'm trying to save that gold to get the people that I want to consider for Dark Dimension 4 up to 80, so that when I get the pieces, I can apply them. But also, I think going from level 75 to level 80 is a pretty decent stat boost. So I took the people that I had been using on Arena a lot, like Phoenix, Black Bolt, and Ultron. I tried to take them up to 80 as quickly as I could. Well, actually, I just got to 80, but I took them up to 79, most of them. I mean, character shards is something that they've got me a lot for in the last couple months. I did buy one of the $25 offers on Kitty Pryde just because I pulled pulled 4 red stars, and I was like, it wasn't necessarily something that I wanted to do, especially since I've gone hard on some of the other characters this patch. But I think I've pulled 4 red stars on everybody in this patch. So I definitely have a red star. My red star strategy right now is I don't spend any during the week, and every Friday or every other Friday I'll kind of just open a bunch. Well, when these new characters have been coming out, like I know for Kitty I think I had about 20 saved up. So what I did is I opened all them up at once, and I think the best that I got was maybe 1 red star. So that wasn't that great, but a lot of my rosters at 4 and 5 stars, I did get enough Elite 4 credits that I had enough for 2 opens, and I used one of them and I got her on the first try as 4 red stars. So that's a really good strategy. That's something that I didn't really fully understand until probably the last month or so. I think I've seen some people do it online, and if there's a character that you're really wanting, that is the most effective way to get it done. So right now I'm currently saving some red star orbs, and I don't have a ton right now. I'm saving some red star orbs in anticipation of Iceman, and then like I said, I got enough for 2 Elite 4s, and I've already got one already saved for Iceman. So yeah, I just gotta make sure not to use that on accident. Yeah. So let's see what else I gotta do. Gotta spend some energy, that's for sure. I got them. So right now I've been hitting up these. This one right here took me a really long time to figure out. I really wasn't sure that I had the right team assembled because my power armor is pretty low. And I'm pretty sure I wasted some resources trying to figure this out. But I was trying to see how slowly I could kind of inch power armor up to get through this one with using all 5, and it was not working. So what I ended up using was Doctor Strange, Rocket, War Machine, Iron Man, I think, were on there, and then the 5th I think was Star-Lord. And that got the job done. It was a little interesting how I had to do it. I think I ended up getting down to just Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and I was kind of just basicking back and forth between the 2 of them long enough to get 2 revives with Doctor Strange. I think I had to revive both War Machine and Iron Man. I don't remember who it was, but I had to do 2 characters, and I just barely made it. But that one was a pain in the ass for me. It took me a lot of tries. Wasted a lot of campaign energy doing that. And then having 3-1 available and being able to farm those bio pieces was pretty huge. If you are to this point in the game, I would probably be doing whatever I could to finish this up until at least 3-7, so that you gain access to farming those superior unique pieces. Since I've been able to do that, it's still a slow process that you got to grind away at, but I've been able to, level up a lot more of my team to gear tier 14 for this second wave through global. Since people have such a hard time with global, I'm kind of doing what I did with DD2, and I'm slowing down at least long enough that I get 2 full teams. So I'm going to have 10 global by the time all things are said and done. Looking for here. No. So, yeah, I got Phoenix, Magneto, Colossus, Wolverine. Well, actually, not Wolverine. He's actually fallen off the team that I'm going to use. I'm going to use Phoenix, Magneto, Colossus, Sabretooth, and Mr. Sinister is going to be one of my, or one set of 5 of my 10. And then it looks like the rest is going to be Wolverine. I don't think I have this sorted right. It'd be like Wolverine, Black Panther's there. So yeah, Wolverine, Black Panther, Ultron. Oh, and then I gotta do 2 more. That math works out, right? Yeah, so kind of just trying to decide between Shuri and Fury, and I'm not forgetting about Widow and Hawkeye. They're both part of my long-term strategy. I could take Avengers up to, or I could take Hawkeye up to Gear Tier 13 right now if I wanted to, but I don't want to spend that adamantium right now. Thing about with the Avengers is I think they're not future-proof, but they're going to be in the game for a while. I think there were probably a lot of people like me that the understanding of red stars or level in the game at that point wasn't high enough that they got a lot of red stars on those characters. So, for a longest time, I only had 3 red stars on every single member of Wave 1 Avengers, and it was really frustrating. And then I finally pulled 5 stars on Captain America, which is probably the one that I was least excited about. Finally spent some credits on Iron Man, mostly because he's a legendary character, and I know that he's going to be a long-term focus for me just because he has his own team. But wasn't crazy about that decision. Yeah, what else? So I still have Hulk. Hulk's still at 3 red stars. Hawkeye's still at 3 red stars. So I really want more red stars on those guys. I really wish Scopely, I don't know if this is something they're considering or not. I wish they would consider doing a red orb that was exclusively for the legacy characters. I think all the Wave 1 Avengers would probably fall into that category. There are people like that. I've got a lot of 3 stars that are like that, and it's like, I'm not going to spend promo credits on these guys. I've got to get them through natural means. They've got to rebalance the game that way. Or maybe they don't. I don't know. That's just what I wish they would do. But yeah, there's a lot of the Avengers that I'm kind of trying to keep in the fray. Kind of like I was talking about with Kate Bishop. Coming. Maybe we see Hawkeye get a duo. I know that Rachel Weisz. I know she's a character that's in the Black Widow movie. I don't know. Maybe that's telling that she's not introduced in this, but maybe she's coming out when the movie actually comes out, and that's going to be what pulls the skill military team all together. I've seen some of the whales, testing that, and I mean, all those guys have a little bit different scope or perspective than I do, but I know that of the kind of 3 teams that have come out of this patch, that's the one that really seems to be a whale team, and I think it's because people think it's fully developed, and it's not fully developed at this point, but that's just my theory. I think there's maybe a Widow rework coming. There's something that we don't know yet, and it's all going to make sense long term. I'm kind of getting a little bit more comfortable with the pacing of the game, especially as a long-time player. And like I said, I have no immediate plans to stop playing. I've played for over 3 years, and it's still fresh to me. I still enjoy it. So I plan to play for a while. Let's finish spending some energy. It looked like I'd kind of capped out most of my Doom stuff. Oh, what is this? What's the bonus? It was just XP right after I got to level 80? Thanks. I don't care. don't think I did Karnak today yet. Anyway, I probably got to do some raid stuff. I'm probably just going to throw my symbiotes on auto and finish it out real quick. So it's not really going to be all that exciting to broadcast. I think I'm pretty much at my fill for the day. In terms of talking, my throat's starting to get a little sore. But just wanted to switch back to this analysis real quick and again hammer home the three things that I kind of thought were interesting out of this, and kind of the characters that might come into play. So just looking at how the characters are spread across all these categories, the three things that I find interesting is mutant support. Just trying to think about people that could fit in there, and I think Forge would be very appropriate. He would kind of connect a lot of different mutant factions all kind of together. That's something that I'm definitely definitely interested in, because I have not figured out how to prioritize all these mutants. There's a ton of them, and a ton of them that I like, really. And I'm not really sure how to do it. I don't know if that's going to get easier with things like this Covert Ops event. I'm really finding that purple gear is kind of a choke point for me. I actually might buy the calendar offer. I like calendar offers. Only $5. Actually, I think it gets you like 70,000 purple gear pieces, which is something I really need. I kind of kicked myself for not doing that the last time it was available, so I think I'm not going to pass on it this time. Anyway, back to the points that I wanted to make. Another one is Mystic Blaster. I think that very well could be Moon Knight. We know a Defenders rework's coming. And yeah, that just seems like the characteristics for Moon Knight to me. Back to Forge for a second. We know that, if I didn't talk about this already, we know Bishop's coming. That was kind of leaked in some promo art over the weekend. I think it's been taken down now, but we know Bishop's coming, so I think Forge seems like a real possibility. And then the last one is looking at that Brawler category, Brawler Tech. There's probably only one character there right now, one or two characters, I guess. I can't even think of who they would be. There's at least one. But anyway, I know people are I guess not a lot of people, but I know I've heard Valley Flyin talk about it, or at least people that have been on his channel. And people want Hulkbuster, and I am one of those people. So I would love to see that. I think Hulkbuster, coming in, being able to take Iron Man off that Power Armor team and use him on Wave 1 Avengers, kind of reassemble the Avengers would be awesome. It'd probably have to be a little rework in there, I guess. I don't remember how well they all function together, but if there was one that I was going to leave in the dust, unfortunately it would probably be Hulk, just because I've only got 3 red stars on him. It took me a long time. He was my last one that I took into DD2 that I finally got up to level 75. I just did it the other day, kind of just to get it done. He had kind of been the kind of bottom tier of my roster. He was kind of like a little visual benchmark that I had, and I just never had taken him up to level 75. Wasn't really using him as heavily after DD2, and if I had to skip one of the Wave 1 Avengers, it would probably be him, unfortunately. But I think that's probably happening to a lot of people. Kind of think that Hulk's going to have his own team down the line. We'll see. Anyway, if looking at this, nothing complex here. It's just VLOOKUPs and some ifs and crap like that. But the filters in this game are useful, but not as useful as what I really feel like I need to make a decision about Dark Dimension 4. There's plenty of tools out there. I know if you OMG's talked about a couple. I don't know if they come from Dutch Redder, but I know that he uses some stuff. He thinks about all that kind of stuff. But there's some DD4 planning tools out there that are at least helpful to conceptualize how much gear you're actually going to need. But in terms of planning the waves, there's not anything that's really satisfying my needs. So, I know I know MSF.GG it's something I've known about, but just went there for the first time the other day. It's kind of some interesting data. I know they have like some kind of subscription thing. I don't know if there's some way that they get access to your roster. Like I'm not that technologically advanced, but I'm looking for a way to visually look at my roster a little bit easier. So I'm working on some things. If it's something that interests you, shoot me an email or contact me through social media. Let me know you're interested, and when I get something that's a little bit more fleshed out, I'll probably have you shoot me some shots of your roster. Doesn't matter if you have all the characters or not. The way I'm setting this up is that I can take your information and drop it in this, and whatever team you've got, it'll kind of fill out the rest. And then, this is just a meta dashboard. I'd like to build, one specifically for my roster that kind of does a little bit of looking at the balance between yellow stars and red stars, a couple different things like that. But if it has any interest to you, long term, it's something that I'm working on personally for myself. Wouldn't mind making some side income in the process. Hit me up and we can work out something over the next couple weeks. So yeah, you'll probably see this again in different forms. But I think that's all I've got for right now. Hope the majority of the people enjoyed the day off and used it to reflect on what's really important and going on in the world right now. And I hope everybody continues to stay safe and healthy. Have a good one.